Hello everyone, my name is Sarthak, your study helper. Today we're gonna be talking about the definitions, example, and fun fact of purpose, hypothesis, materials, etc. that you can see on the screen. So let's start from definition, move on to example, then move on to fun fact. Let's start. The definition of purpose is the purpose defines the main goal or objective of your experiment, explaining what you aim to discover, solve, or understand, and why you are conducting the investigation. The example is the purpose of this experiment is to determine if different types of music affect plant growth. The fun fact is think of your purpose as your project superpower. It's the one thing it was born to do. Without it, your experiment would just be a bunch of random chemicals throwing a party. The hypothesis is a hypothesis is a clear, testable prediction based on prior knowledge or observation that suggests a possible outcome or relationship between variables in your experiment. The example is if plants are exposed to classical music, then they will grow taller than plants exposed to rock music or no music because the rhythmatic patterns of classical music may simulate cellular activities. The fun fact of hypothesis is a hypothesis is like a detective's initial hunch. It might be right, it might be wrong, but it's always the first exciting clue that kicks off the whole investigation. The definition of materials is materials are the complete list of all items, tools, and quantities required to perform the experiment, detailed enough to allow someone else to replicate it exactly. The example is three identical potted bean plants, three plant pots, 1 liter of distillated water, measuring tape, CD, classical music CD, rock music CD, CD player, grow light, ruler, notepad, and pen. The fun fact is, writing a materials list is like preparing for a mad scientist's picnic. You need everything precisely accounted for, down to the last beaker and a spare rubber ducky, just in case. The procedure is the procedure outlines a clear step by step method describing how the experiment was conducted to ensure accuracy and reproducibility. The example is 1. Label 3 potted bean plants, plant A, plant B, and plant C. Step 2. Place all plants under the same grow light for 12 hours daily. Step 3. Water each plant with 100 ml of distillated water every other day. Step 4. Ex- Expose plant A to classical music for 2 hours daily. Step 5. Expose plant B to rock music for 2 hours daily. Step 6. Plant C will receive no music exposure. That is the control variable. Step 7. Measure the height of each plant daily for 2 weeks and record observations. The fun fact is, a good procedure is so clear, even a robot could follow it perfectly. Though a robot might get confused if you tell it to mix until it feels right. The definition, the definition of independent variable is the independent variable is the single factor deliberately changed or controlled by the experimenter to test its effect on the outcome. The example is if in the music experiment, the independent variable is the type of music classical, rock, or no music. Fun fact is the independent variable is the star of the show in your experiment. It's the one thing you control, like a DJ changing the songs to see how the crowd reacts. The definition of dependent variable is the dependent variable is what is measured or observed as the response to change made to the independent variable. It reflects the experiment's outcome. The example is in the plant music experiment, the dependent variable is the plant growth, measured by height, number of leaves, or biomass. The definition of control variable is control variables are all the factors kept constantly throughout the experiment to guarantee a fair test by isolating the effects of the independent variable. The example of dependent control variable is in the plant music experiment, controlled variables include type of plant, amount of water, type of soil, amount of light, temperature, size of pots, duration of music exposure, frequency of watering. The fun fact is, control variables are the unsung heroes of science. They're the quiet background crew making sure the star gets all the credit for any amazing changes. The definition of question is the question precisely states what the experiment seeks to answer, guiding the focus of investigation and connecting the purpose and hypothesis. The example is does the type of music affect the growth rate of bean plants? Fun fact is, asking a great scientific question is like in unlocking a secret level in a video game. Once you ask it, a whole world of answers open up. The definition of graphs, charts, and tables is these visual tools organize and present collected data clearly, helping to illustrate patterns differently and results for easier understanding and analysis. The example is a table showing daily plant heights for each music group, a line graph showing the growth curves of each plant over time. The fun fact is, data is like a secret code, and graphs, charts, and tables are the amazing decors that turn confusing numbers into clear, colorful stories. The definition of photos is photos provide visual evidence and documentation of the experiment, setup, process, and results, supporting the written data with images. You can show the example like pictures of the three plants set up with different music sources, close ups of plant growth, or images showing the measurement process. Fun fact is, think of your experiment think of your photos as selfies of your experiment. They show off all the cool things you did and what happened so everyone can see the action. The definition of results is results are the objective observations and data collected during the experiment describing what actually happens without interruption. The example is after 2 weeks, the classical music plant grew an average of 15 centimeters. The rock music plant grew an average of 8 centimeters. The control plant grew an average of 12 centimeters. The classical music plant also exhibited a greater number of new leaves. Fun fact, the results are the aha moment of your experiment. It's where you discover what actually happened, even if it's not what you expected, and sometimes that's even cooler. The definition of conclusion is the conclusion interrupts the result, states whether the hypothesis was supporting Illuminen 5G. So, was supported or not? Acknowledgements limited and suggest future research directions or improvements. Example is the results of this the results of this experiment suggest that classical music may have a positive effect on bean plant growth, as the classical music exposed plant grew, grew taller and produced more leaves than both the rock music and control groups. This supports the hypothesis that classical music would promote greater growth. Further research could explore different genres of music or longer exposure times. Fun fact is, your conclusion is like the grand finale of a magic show. It's where you reveal what you've learned and what amazing new questions might pop up next. And the definition of your name and teacher's name is this identifies the individual who conducted the project and the person who provided guidance. Crediting contributes approximately. There is no example or fun fact for this, but you can create your own. Thank you guys. See you in the next video. Bye.